I'm Kerena Saltzman, and this is my husband and partner extraordinaire, Ben.
Extraordinaire.
And just thought I'd add that in.
Thank you.
And this is a Salties episode. So we are here in Manchester, Massachusetts, and we were here for 2 weeks with Ben's family. And now we're with each other and our small family and a couple friends, chillaxing and integrating everything that's happened over the past few weeks. And we wanted to shoot these videos for you all because we hope that some of what we're grappling with will be in support of you.
Yeah. And frankly, we've got a lot of positive feedback after the last series of the Salties. And people seem to love it when we talk about what's going on in our lives instead of just like teaching. Y'all want to get the gritty, nitty details of what's going on for us. So we'll share that along with whatever it is that kind of emerges organically here.
We will share the organically emerging nitty gritty.
You're right. Yeah. and there's a theme. It's not just organic. So the theme this time is around relationships and getting support outside of your relationship to support the relationship, because it is hard to do conscious relationship in an isolated dyad or triad.
Yeah, in an isolated silo. So if it's just you and me, and we're triggering the hell out of each other some, and you're the only person I'm sharing it with, and I'm the only person you're sharing it with, that's a pretty tense way of trying to do relationship.
And so let's play that one out for a minute.
Okay.
So we're in a relationship together. You're triggering the crap out of me. I'm triggering the crap out of you, which happens in our relationship.
And I'm trying my best to withhold all my feelings of anger and resentment, right? In that dynamic. I'm like, oh, I can't say all this. I better not share it.
Yeah. And so what happens if we just keep going down that road? Like, we don't go get support outside. What are you imagining is going to happen for you? You're holding all that, the resentment or the anger. You don't want to blast me.
I mean, I think what would happen is just more distance. I mean, what I also see happen is people go outside the relationship to get supported.
You mean?
Either intimately or friendship, or like they go outside of it, but in a way that's not clean, right? In the relationship.
Like sexually or
intimately. They develop other intimate relationships that maybe aren't as strong or are stronger than this one here, because that's where they're putting their energy. I have done that in my past. What else could happen?
I think sometimes we just close our heart to the other person.
Yeah.
Like if I'm bottled up and I tried to share with you and for some reason it didn't go well, and so I stopped sharing with you, I just start to shut down and distance and, more substances, more TV.
Right, more checkout.
Yeah, like less connected relationship.
Right.
So,
or people will go and, at some point try to find a therapist or something too.
Right, which is an option, which is...
Totally.
Yeah, like...
I have my own criticisms of the therapeutic industry, which I will not get into, but there are very good people too.
Yes, we'll leave it there. But we do encourage reaching out to get other support so that this doesn't happen.
And also so there's not so much pressure on Ben to be everything for me. Right? Like that he is not the end-all, be-all of everything in my world.
I'm not your therapist. I'm not your coach. I'm not your spiritual counselor.
You're not my girlfriend.
I'm not your girlfriend.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think that, the tricky thing about creating a support system outside of the relationship is with our friends and people who support our relationship, we have clear spoken agreements that their job is not to take my side. Their job is not to trash Ben, which some people do. That would be like step one would be like, I just go and vent about him. And they go, oh yeah, he is horrible, isn't he? and then you set up a weird situation. But it's more like they're there to reflect back to me what might be up for me and how I might shift that in a relationship.
What might be up for you? Like, what would be an example of that? How would they reflect something back to you that would not be trashing me? I like that part. It makes me trust her girlfriends and her groups that she goes to. So what, if they were saying this, if they were reflecting back to you, what might be up for you? What would that look like? How would...
Right. Well, I'm trying to, let me see if I can find, I mean, you know, let me go with this and I'll see what happens. I'm not sure exactly where this is gonna
organic, happening now. This is organic.
But say it's like, okay, Ben and I have an agreement that he's the dish person and it's not happening. He's not doing it, and I'm starting to resent it at night if you're not doing the dishes.
Yeah.
You know, here'd be an example.
That's my job. I'm doing the dishes every night, and
I'm the cook.
And if I don't do it,
right.
Then
If it adds up, right? I could get resentful and be like, you know, bringing it up and it doesn't go anywhere. And so if I, you know, went to a friend, they might say, is there some way you're not being clear in your ask? Or is there some way that you could ask in a new way or a different way? Like, why are you getting resistance here?
yeah.
Like, what's going on for you? Are you pissed off and you're coming at him with like,
a lot of anger.
and then he's getting reactive? Or, you know, like kind of like just what's up for you? And it's not to take the onus off him not doing the dishes, but it's more just going like, why is this, also maybe why is this so important to you? Why are you so frustrated over this? So he didn't do it 2 nights. You know, why is this such a big deal? And I know that's like a kind of a little...
Right, but then we can apply, you know, the principles we can apply to whatever the situation is. So it sounds like they're asking a lot of questions. I'm guessing that they're reflecting back, because most of our friends are good at like paraphrasing and getting what's going on for you, and
Right.
that you go, yeah.
And they're also putting the responsibility and the onus also over here.
Yeah.
And they could take guesses about, well, knowing Ben, maybe da-da-da, he's overwhelmed and whatever.
Yeah.
But really the focus is on how do you want to be with him, and how are you kind of co-creating the dynamic?
Right.
And is there a way you can shift the way you're reacting to it?
And I'll say on my side, with my friends, my men's group, one of the things that often happens is as they're asking me questions, I'm discovering new parts of me and how I'm seeing the situation and in relationship with Kerena, and I'm either discovering new beliefs that I have about how we're supposed to be together that were unconscious, or there's emotion that's gotten kind of jammed up inside that gets freed up, and I get to experience sadness or pain or happiness or joy or whatever. And that, just the expression and getting kind of deeper into it often shifts the dynamic. And I come back and I'm not as angry or I'm not as resistant, and something has opened, so there's more connection, there's more love, there's more intimacy, there's more kind of like I can fall back in love with Kerena because I'm not harboring this thing.
Yeah. And I also think that some of that is also true of blame. When we get into a blamey space, like living together and being together, it could just be like, it's all, you know, you're in a bad space, it's all your fault. Like you are the person I'm looking at, life is shitty right now, it must be your fault. But really being able to take that offline with you, and, you know, like in my women's group, we would say like, it's okay to blame consciously, like just go for a minute or 2 minute blame fit. How is everything his fault? You know, just to the most ridiculous degree of it. Because we're not all taking it so seriously as his fault, but it's more like it just wants to come out. And then we can get a closer look at sort of what is it that I'm holding that's more about me. And what I notice is often in relationship that I might be overriding an experience I have of not wanting to do something, where I'm not listening to my own boundaries. I'm not saying no. I'm not asking for what I want. And all those things get forgotten or tucked under, and then it can show up with you as conflict versus as the clean ask or desire or want that it actually is.
Yeah. we're not going to dive into shadow work here, but I think a lot of times it's our shadow gets projected onto them and we get to judge them for it.
Yeah.
You know, like the part of me that wants to be selfish gets projected on her and I judge her as selfish. Or the part of me that wants to go for it in my work gets projected onto her and I'm like, oh, you're totally over the top going for it and taking all the...
Do you really ever feel that way?
That you're going for it?
Taking up all the room?
Not so much in the public arena, but I have felt that socially. In the social, you know, like in a smaller group, you know, 10, 15 people, and you're taking up the space. I have felt that. Organic, it's happening right now. Yeah.
I feel both a little embarrassed and a little delighted hearing that. I'm not sure why. It's like, oh good, I can take up space. I'm to be reckoned with.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I think people often gravitate towards your lightness in the social arena. You've got some...
My lightness?
Your joy, yeah. You've got a, like, I mean, I do joy too, but there's something inside you. Yeah. And so I might judge her for that.
Or be envious.
Or be envious, yeah.
Right.
And I think that's my shadow usually. And we, you know, go over to our website if you want to learn about shadow work, touchedandtransformed.com. We got a lot of free stuff around how to deal with your shadow and what is a shadow and all that. So I think that that's part of what happens. And I think that even if we don't get that complex, just getting it out in offline takes some of the charge off of it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, and I think getting it out without, you know, it's like, I remember sort of the old school ways we would do it is like I would vent to a girlfriend and then over time she would hate that boyfriend.
Right.
So it wasn't just like a clean
worst when you have a
container
real
of
tight-knit
blame.
community. Our community is pretty tight. We have a number of kind of circles that gather every month to build connection and relationship. And if that's happening, things get really sticky.
Well, that typically doesn't happen there because we're all holding values.
No, that's what I'm saying. It doesn't happen now, but the old school way.
Right.
Yeah,
Right.
I mean.
Or you wouldn't want to share because then that person would then hate your husband or your partner, right? Or would judge them. And so what we're talking about is really sort of creating a group that has more conscious agreements around what's sort of the best way we're showing up so we can all take responsibility for ourselves to that extent and really not go into the divide of I'm your friend or his friend, but I'm really here for the relationship. We want people on our team who are actually in support of the relationship, not just me as an individual.
Yeah. Yeah, and for some reason I just want to tell you the larger context that we hold is we want you to have really supportive, connected, loving relationships. We want them to feed you. We want your heart to open inside of them and for you to find new levels of connection and love inside of them. We want them to fuel you in your expression in the world so that you feel like you've got somebody at your back in your intimate relationships so that you can go out and do what you need to do in the world and come back and get nurtured and held and loved up. Because most of us who are interested in this stuff, we're up to some things in the world and we're putting ourselves out and we're in leadership and that's not always easy. And it is really nice to feel supported by your intimate and to feel supported by a network of relationship. It allows you to go out into the world in a much bigger, more impactful way.
And I think there's more security when I know I can go out and screw it up and have it fall flat, but we're good.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Because it's always a risk we take.
Yeah.
You know, if we're taking risks.
Yeah. And earlier in this video I said I fall back in love with you. It's like there's that underlying love that never leaves. And then there's that physical, palpable, loving presence that does seem to, we come apart and we come together, we go apart and we come together. And that, having both of those online, that's good stuff. for your life and your relationships. Anything else that you want to add?
I just come back to, getting a supportive container for yourself, and whether it's men or women, who can hold space for where you're growing and shifting in the relationship without making your partner bad.
Yeah.
That's it.
Create the network with agreements around that. So that ends this episode of the Salties. If you want more information on relationships, Enneagram personality types, go over to touchedandtransformed.com. You can take our 5-minute test to discover your Enneagram personality type, or sign up for our newsletter, and once a week you'll get more videos, you'll get the Salties episodes, you'll get clips of live trainings and the different personality types and how do they grow and evolve and transform. We've got a lot of juicy material for you over there at touchedandtransformed.com. Plus we have intensives, 3-day intensives, year-long intensives, where we really do the deep dive onto how to build these skills, how to create these communities in your life so that you are dramatically supported. I want that for you.